Hey guys, it is me, Lily. Welcome back to my YouTube channel. For those who don't know me, my name is Lily. I am an aspiring booktuber, book talker. Just, trying to get my foot in the door. But welcome to Lily's Book Haven. Today is kind of going to be a little bit of a shorter video. I kind of saw this on TikTok, on YouTube, a little bit all over the place, but it is the idea of books that I probably read in a day that I think you guys could read in a day. And that's not just saying, oh, they were short, they were quick. No, this is saying like plot-wise, draws you in, you can't put it down. And also just the fact that like, I love these authors, so I feel like y'all would love these authors. But yeah, I'm very, very excited for this. It's my second ever YouTube video. So we're gonna see how this goes. I did realize that I need to film this way and it looks like it's a wee bit crooked. LOL, we're learning. But yes, I did realize in editing that I have to film sideways and not straight up and down. But it's okay. It's okay. So some of these books that you're gonna see here, you've probably seen on TikToks of me reviewing that I like absolutely was obsessed with them. I love them so much. I had such a good time reading them. So without further ado, I feel like I should just get started. I have some fantasy and I have some romance books. And so I'm very, very excited for this and I hope you enjoy. Okay, so we're starting off strong. My sweet lady, my sweet friend, Catherine Center. I am absolutely obsessed with this lady's books. She just writes these like rom-com-y style romance books so well that like it draws you in. And one of her books, The Bodyguard, I don't have it because I read it on Kindle, is actually going to become a movie sometime in the next year or so. And I'm so, so, so excited. But if you have not been introduced to Catherine Center, all of her books are just fun, kind of nostalgic rom-coms that remind me of like older movies. So I have three here, three that are very different in very different ways. So the first one is How to Walk Away. Now this one does dive deeper into some more serious topics of like serious injuries, body disfigurement, just kind of losing everything you've ever worked for. But she wrote it so well that when I started this book, y'all, I could not put it down. I physically could not put it down. And it just was such a well-written storyline that I was baffled that someone even came up with this. But I think I read this one in like less than 3 hours. And on a popular note, it's less than 300 pages, I believe. I think it's right at 300 pages. So for all y'all who are like, I need a cute, quick little book to read, I got you. The next Catherine Center book, the rom-commers. Guys, I don't know if y'all saw the TikTok where I got this on my shelf, but it has like the beautiful pink sprayed edges. I did annotate this one. It's so hard to annotate on sprayed edges, but I do my best. I digress. But this one is surprisingly probably one of my favorite Catherine Center books. It follows two kind of, I think they're like script writers for like movies, but they're trying to come up with this rom-com idea. And of course, their close proximity forced to work together. And then there's just this little love story that kind of blossoms, but then there's an underlying plot that you're like, what? And it kind of, it confuses you, it makes you question everything, and then at the end it all gets explained and it wraps up in a nice little bow. I absolutely love this one. I read this one I think while I was at the beach last year, and I was just obsessed, and I've probably reread it twice. It is just such a fun, like lighthearted book. And again, this one I think is a little bit under 400 pages without like all the, no, it's actually right at like 300. It was so good, guys. It was so, so good. And I think it's now also in paperback as well. I only got it back when you could have it in the hardback, but I loved it. I'm obsessed. I think I gave this one a 5-star. And then my most recent, I posted on my Instagram, my TikTok, everywhere about it. The Love Haters. Guys, you guys have no idea just how giggly and kicking my feet I was reading this book. I absolutely was obsessed with it. I could not put it down. I was sitting on the beach reading it, and it's got like tropical themes with where the main character and the main character are staying. It's kind of a beach resort. It was honestly like a joy to read, and I ate it up. I read it so fast. I was giggling on the beach, and my mom was like, "Are you okay?" I was like, this book is literally adorable. So yes, we have The Love Haters, and this one is also like, I think right at 300 pages. All of her books are fairly short, which I'm not complaining, but I do wish we would get a little bit longer stories by Miss Catherine Center. But, and then she has another one, I think The Shipwreckers, maybe, that should be coming out. I think it's February or March. I'm so excited, guys. I am so excited. I love her. Boom, there you go. There's 3 easy peasy book recs that I love that I think you guys will love. Okay, quick break. Sorry about that. But the next one, I have love relationship with Ali Hazelwood. You guys know that. Like, I feel like anytime a book of hers comes out, like, I have to get it. And some of her books, like, I definitely read them in a day, but I feel like not everyone will be able to read them in a day. So I do have 2 that I definitely devoured, and they made me giggle, kick my feet. I'm obsessed. Also, The Love Hypothesis, I feel like you could, but I didn't want to put that on there because I do know many people who it took them a couple days to get through it. So the first one, guys, you guys have probably seen the TikTok of me reacting to this book. This is her, I think, YA debut. Checkmate. I was not expecting to love this one because I know nothing about chess. But I'm now learning on Duolingo, not sponsored. But yeah, I knew nothing about chess. But just reading this book and the plot line and the female main character, I was absolutely obsessed with Mallory. And then when you get to meet the male main character, he kind of intrigues you. He piques your interest, and just their storyline and the growth that they go through. And of course, it's a book. It has a third act kind of conflict. But I was obsessed. I giggled, kicked my feet. This man plays 1 round of chess with her, and he's in love, and he strives to find her and play with her again. And I just loved it. And so this one's one of her shorter ones. I think it's like right at 350 pages. So I figured good little starter, especially if you don't know Ali Hazelwood. I would suggest just starting with Love Hypothesis. That's her first one. But this is a cute little YA one. You can get into that. The next one, technically, it's 3 novellas in one book, but it's in a book form for me. Love to Love You. So this is 3 novellas about a friend group, 3 girls, and they're so entertaining. Like, I honestly was not expecting to love this as much as I did, but each little novella is like 150 pages, and they go through like different points of life. There's different kind of conflicts. It is a little bit spicy. It does have some spice scenes in it, but I was just obsessed with reading this, especially like when I didn't have a new Ali Hazelwood book out. I would just go back and reread these stories because, like, you don't have to know about the other ones. You can just read this. And it's 3 friends, and so like they all kind of pop up together in each other's stories. I loved it. I was obsessed. You should give it a try. It is thicker, but that is because there's 3 novellas in it, and I read all 3 in a day. And so next we have I Love Lynn Painter. Y'all know I love Lynn Painter. She's right there. I was looking, and the one book that I know I read in a day was definitely The Do-Over. This is kind of like a Groundhog's Day, but I do believe it's on Valentine's Day. And it was just like a rom-com. It was so fun, and this is another YA book, so it was like very quick, easy, enjoyable, giggled, kicked my feet. I was obsessed with it. But yeah, it's like less than 300 pages, I think, and it was just so fun, the storyline. Like, I love the Groundhog Day kind of themes where you're figuring out the plot of like, why are you going back, what's supposed to happen, what's supposed to change, and just a little love story that like kind of grows during this is like amazing. And then you just see the female main character like slowly fall in love over like the course of the same day, and it's so fun. I'm obsessed. I love it. I think you should try it. I definitely think you should try it. Okay, finishing up the romance section, I have two different authors. So the first one is Hannah Bonham Young, definitely Out on a Limb and Next of Kin. I have not read her other books, but I do know when I read these books, I devoured them in a day. Now, I do know she had a book recently come out for fall that kind of got some mixed reviews. Not a lot of people enjoyed it. I've yet to read it. I'm saving money. I'm broke. I have a big TBR cart. Try not to buy any books. But yeah, so these two definitely I would recommend, just the storyline. So this one, Out on a Limb, it is a surprise pregnancy trope, but it's also got disability awareness. Both of the main characters have some form of disability, and just them navigating this new life journey with each other, just kind of growing and getting comfortable with each other. It was such a fun, quick read, and moments in this I was absolutely sobbing. But I love Winnie, the main character. She is just absolutely iconic. It made my day just reading it, giggling, kicking my feet. And then Bo, golden retriever to a T. Like, I was just so happy to see their story and just kind of how it blossomed. And like, I don't think I had really any issues with this book. It was fantastic. And then Next of Kin, this one's part of a kind of interconnected series, I believe. But this one is about, what was her name? Chloe and then Warren. They both have younger siblings that are in the foster system, and they're working to gain custody of them. But in order to do that, they're implementing this new system where they have to, have a house. And so they end up moving in together to try to get custody of their siblings. And it was such a fun kind of storyline, because you don't really see books that represent kind of what siblings of foster siblings go through when it comes to trying to get custody, trying to, keep the family together. And so I just love how well this was written. And I, of course, ate it up in a day. And I've reread it a couple times, and I've slightly annotated it, and it was just such a fun ride, such a fun journey. And then my last one for the romance genre, we know her, we love her, I love her, Miss Ashley Poston. Now, of course, these are the three that I have. She has a couple more books out that if you have to purchase, again, I'm trying to save. Also, side note, I keep looking at myself. I need to look at the camera. I'm so sorry. This whole video is going to be me like staring at myself, but it's just the bigger part for me to focus on, and so I'm hoping to get an actual camera so that doesn't happen. Anyway, back to Miss Ashley Poston. First and foremost, we know her, we love her, The Dead Romantics. Y'all know how much I love this book. Y'all know how many times I've reread it, re-annotated it. Like, I feel like this one's ingrained in my veins. So our main character, she's a ghostwriter for an author, and also her family has a funeral business, and she has a kind of specialty where she can speak to ghosts. And she goes home because her father passes, which is very, very sad, and kind of sends her family to a trying time, where she meets a ghost, and she kind of helps him figure out what's going on, what his purpose is for why he's still there, kind of complete his life journey. And it honestly is just such a fun, cute book. Like, the found family, the world building, like the kind of realism with the fantasy aspect was just so good. I was obsessed. I love this book. I wish I could reread it again, and I wish I could read it for the first time. But then the next one we have is another one that's very similar to The Dead Romantics. It's kind of got fantasy aspects, but it's realism as well, The 7-Year Slip. As you can see, I also love this one. I wish I could put this one into my veins as well, or reread it for the first time. So this one is about this young girl who moves into her aunt's apartment, and her aunt tells her, it has magic powers. Well, she gets there and there's a man there, and she has no clue, and she comes to find out, learns that he's actually from 7 years in the past. I'm telling you guys, this one was such a fun book, and so you get to see her kind of bounce between the past and the future and kind of what all goes on. Well, then she runs into him in the future, and you just kind of get to see their relationship grow and blossom. And it was such a fun book, giggling, kicking my feet. The plot line of this was absolutely fantastic. It was amazing, and I just wish I could read it again for the first time, because I loved it, and Ashley Poston has some kind of hold on me. Her, Allie Hazelwood, Lynn Painter, like there's a couple other authors that like have me in a chokehold, and it's okay. It's okay. Last Ashley Poston book, I actually read this one. I think it was the end of the summertime. Sounds like love. Annotated this one. Loved this one. I think, honestly, no, this one's not my favorite. I think Dead Romantics is still my favorite. But this one kind of follows more of a musical aspect. It's two songwriters that kind of are intertwined by hearing this song. And one of them's famous. One of them's kind of a writer for famous singers. And they kind of get thrown together, and you just kind of get to see how their lives are actually connected, and you get to explore, you know, the past of their parents. And it's set in like a small town, kind of similar to ones that I've been to, and so it's just kind of got a real homey, cozy feel, and I just loved it. I ate it up, and all of her books are like between 300 and 400 pages, so I can just read them so quick. But this is my last romance one, and then I do have a couple fantasy ones that I will show y'all. Okay guys, I have my last little bits of books that I definitely think y'all could read in a day, just because storyline, everything is just absolutely fantastic. The first one, technically, I don't know if it's a fantasy. I think it's more of kind of just like a fiction book that has like a twinge of fantasy in it, but is a story collector. This one, I do think that if you were to read it, like you would get kind of halfway through, be like, I don't know. But once you get past the halfway point, you learn so much more about the female main character and kind of the other storyline it's following. It's following one in the past. Guys, this one was so fun. I definitely did not read this one in a day, but I feel like if I had the time when I started it, I would have absolutely like finished this in a day. It was so fun, so cool. And it just follows kind of growth journey for your life, kind of exploring new opportunities, new chances, and second chances at life. And I was just so happy reading it. I really think it kind of touched my heart in a deeper spot than it probably even meant to, but this was such a fun book, and I do want to read more of Evie Wood's books, and I think they're on Kindle Unlimited, so I could probably do that once I have the time. The next one, it is the start of a long series, but when I read this, I read it at the beach. I immediately had to go to Barnes to get the next one, and thankfully they had one left in stock. The Bridge Kingdom. Guys, this book series, I'm so excited to finish it. I'm just kind of taking my time with it just because I don't want to buy all the books at once, especially if I don't have time to read it now. But this one, so good. Starts off, she's a warrior princess, and she's set to marry a prince, and it's like her and her sisters are like kept away in captivity. Well, boom, she basically, spoiler, like kind of kills her sisters in order to go to kind of figure out what her father's plans are and figure out like why her and her sisters have kind of been lied to their whole lives. And this kingdom is called the Bridge Kingdom. It's literally like kind of on the basis of a bridge that just connects the world right here. Like, that is absolutely crazy. And there's so like magical creatures and like there's conflict, and it is so good that I was like, pause, I have to get the next one. There's betrayal, there's angst, there's romance. I was just like mind blown. So I do think y'all would like be obsessed with this plotline. It's absolutely fantastic. I just was jaw drop the entire time. And this one is kind of one of the shorter ones of the series. I feel like they're getting longer and longer, and I keep looking at them. I'm like, I don't have time to read like a 400-500 page book right now, but I would recommend. Another one that feels more like kind of historical fantasy, but this one actually is like straight fantasy. Emily Wilds. Guys, I love this series. I love this book. I need to go back. I need to reread it because I have the second book, and then the third book finally came out in this kind of exclusive Barnes edition with the edges. I'm so excited. Just this storyline of this professor going to this small town to try to, you know, learn about these fairies and kind of figure out what's going on. And then there's a broody professor that follows her there, and he has like something to do with everything, and it's all connected, and it was just so good. It was so good. I think I was giggling, kicking my feet the entire time. I was freaking out. Like, the plot line was just, I could not put this book down. And then I had to wait for the second one. And then, of course, I haven't read it. So that's why I want to reread it. But absolutely obsessed. I love this. I think y'all would love this. It's such a great book. 2 books left, and I'm so sad about that. But both are starts of series. Again, that way you eat this one up. You go get the next book. So we know The Cruel Prince, the Folk of Air series. I was obsessed. I think Jude as a female main character is probably one of my favorite. I think she is so independent, and also, like, this is more fantasy and the romance is on the back burner for this book, that it makes my heart happy. And so I just loved reading about this, like, strong, independent female main character that goes on this journey of, like, deception, spies, kind of overthrowing family, and it has, like, a found family trope as the series goes on. And it is just so good. And you will see that I read this, I didn't love it. I ended up selling it. They were on sale again. I got it again. I reread it. I was like, I don't know how I missed this the first time I read it. And I decided to pick up the rest of the series, and it's one of my favorite series ever. And I plan to reread it again because I want to fully annotate it. But I do think you should start this series. Holly Black also has, like, series that take place before this, and they're short little books that follow another main character that you will see in this series, but, like, you don't have to read it. They're so good as well. And then also there's a series that follows after this series. I think it's just a duology. It's also so good. So if you haven't gotten into the Holly Black world, I think you should. I think you should. Last but not least, guys, I don't want this video to end. You guys have probably heard me talk about this book. I picked it up on a whim when I went, I think it was like Target or Walmart. Like, I never would have thought to grab this book. And then I was told that it kind of has, like, it's a fantasy, but it's more like comedic fantasy, but it's also like kind of adult fantasy. And I was just like, okay, let's do it. Assistant to the Villain. There were so many moments in this book where I was like, what the heck? I was like, I don't know what's going on. Like, some of it was giving, like, Shrek vibes. Like, there's side characters that just, like, made me laugh and were, like, kind of just unnaturally funny. The female main character, I love her. I love her personality. I think just how she's written is fantastic. And then the male main character is, of course, like, a broody villain boss, and just his relationship and, like, his chapters, guys, I can't explain it. It was literally such a joy to read that I really need to reread it so I can finish the second one and start the third one. But this book was just, it was hilarious. I think if you're just looking for kind of a lighthearted fantasy that isn't too, like, you know, deep in it, like, look at the map. Like, it's very kind of, it's not simple, but it's not something that's gonna make your, like, head hurt like a Brandon Sanderson book. It's like, they're fun little fantasy books. I think you guys should try this one. I think you'll like this one. It's one of my favorites. Guys, that was the end of my list. I have more probably that are on my Kindle that I just don't feel like getting my Kindle and finding pictures of the books. And then, like, the Prison Healer series, guys, that's one. Like, you can read it and you'll be like, what the freak, man? Like, it's absolutely fantastic. Any of hockey romance I've ever talked about, boom, there you go. Like, there's so many other books that, like, you can read and you'd be obsessed with. So yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. I hope I can get this video uploaded correctly. I hope everything looks good. But yeah, thanks for watching.